Alright y'all, today I'm going to mount the Garmin UHD64CV plus transducer on a Sun Tracker 2021 Sun Tracker 18-foot party barge. Let's go. So the Sun Tracker has this nice little area on the left pontoon for mounting stuff. So that is where we're going to mount the transducer, and it will run all the way, or the wiring, it'll mount right here. The wiring will go through here all the way down here, let's see, to that side. Well, I guess I'll go to the other side then. Down here, through there, and then over the center, and then back up through here. Well, that hole is too small to fit another wire in, and it's got this little plastic sleeve around all these wires, and you can't fit another in there. So I will drill another hole, probably somewhere around here, and then feed the wire through there up into there, and you'll see the rest. Come on. So the first thing we're gonna do is, Garmin gave us this little template for the transducer mount, so we're gonna cut this out. You know, I got that little piece of paper taped on there for a template. I have the right corner a little bit off the edge there. I didn't want it right on the edge because I don't want those holes to be on the edge there, but it's kind of right center-ish. But you're supposed to have this edge at the bottom, so put that there. Now the next step is to assemble the transducer mount. Actually, first I want to make sure that the transducer wire can actually reach from the back to the console, or the helm. So I'm gonna go look at that. All right. I'm going to feed the wire through that little hole on the right there, all the way down. And I'm going to use this broom to push it through a little, because it's not really working very well. All right, so I am underneath the pontoon. Well, we should have enough, hopefully. You can see it hanging down there. I brought it all the way down through that guy and this guy. And now I'm gonna bring it up, staple it to that or whatever, probably another staple there, and then we have that hole. I'll probably bring it up around something like that, or we'll see. But for now, we got our wire here, and the wire has a little cover on it, so no worry about dust or anything. We're good. All right, y'all, I just did a little tape measure, and it looks like we will have enough room, hopefully, with the dang wire, and it should be able to get where we want to get it with maybe a little bit of room to spare. We'll see. So now what we're going to do is mount the transducer to this little mounting piece. So there's a bracket that goes on here, and then this will connect to that bracket and flip up and down with the transducer. So it comes with some screws with it already. Let's screw that in right now. All right, now there's your transducer. As you can see, I put on these 5 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, onto this little mount thing, and then that will go on to that bracket right there. I think it'll swivel up and down. Stay tuned. Now I'm going to attach the bracket to the mount just with this one little bolt here. Alright, so I attached the bracket to the mount. It will go on like that. But I think I'm going to do it so you do the wire, run the wire that way, and it will be a little more hanging out and might snag on something. So I'm gonna actually put it through there and then around and then like that. So then the wire kind of goes underneath that, through there and then up. So it's a little more tight against the pontoon there. Made a quick pit stop here. Need some fasteners. We came and stopped for some of these screws and nuts. Now we're walking around looking for some other stuff. Got the hardware we needed. Now we'll probably work on it tomorrow because I'm gonna go eat some food and I don't know. Drilled those 2 holes in there, and now I assembled this together with the hardware that they gave you. Pretty simple, just follow the directions, but you got 5 screws in that base and then 1 screw and a lock nut going through there. They said to tighten it to about where if it hits something, then it'll move up out of the way, but if you're going fast, then it won't move at all. So, I mean, I did mine pretty tight because I don't plan on hitting anything, but we'll see. Now, I'm not going to use the screws that they gave me because I feel like they wouldn't work very well on this thin little sheet metal. So I went to Home Depot and got these 10, 24, 3/4 inch screws, stainless steel, and then these lock nuts for that. It's like $1 each, but I feel like because they just gave you screws, they didn't give you any nuts, and I wanted something a little more secure so it wouldn't fall out. All right, now that's on there pretty good. Here's the back of it. Wires running up around here, run back up here and through there. Now I'm going to put some wire holders or staples or whatever you want to call them up there so the wire's pinned to that wood. I bought these at Home Depot for the cable, just to clamp it to the wood. I'm just going to use these 1/2 inch screws. It came with 2 of these little clamps, so I might use those first because I think these ones are smaller than the ones that I bought and will hold the wire a little tighter. These ones are 1/2 inch. I think they might be a little too big. These ones, I'll use those ones first and then these. Now, we are going to mount this bad boy, which came with it. It's like a circular rotation mount or whatever. We're gonna put it, we had a little room here, but I think it was gonna stick over and hit this top when you pull it up, the actual device. So I wanna put it right here and then probably run the wires out back through the back of this cubby right here, that just drill through that. I could either do that or maybe put some holes in here for the wires, but I think I'm gonna put them back here. So this thing has 3 holes for mounting. So we're gonna position it like, it has this little thing right here. This little gap, we're gonna put that gap straight back to where we have 1, 2 in the back, 2 holes in the back and then 1 in the front. Now, under here, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to drill into anything. So, this is what it looks like underneath. This is that little cubby right here. It already has 2 holes for like drainage. So I was thinking about just making those bigger for the wires. And then this guy looks like a piece of wood with some fiberglass over it, which I think is for support for mounting. I called Bass Pro and they said they think that's there just for support. I don't know why this screw and zip tie is on there, but I'm gonna try and put the circular mount up top through that, the holes through that, because it's perfect size for it. And so I drew a little X on there with a Sharpie. I'm gonna drill a hole, just a small little pilot hole through the bottom here to the top, so I know where it is exactly, and then I'll make like a little template for it, put that up top, and then drill the 3 holes from the top. So right now I'm gonna drill a small pilot hole through that center. I laid a little tape down just to maybe try and prevent some cracking. I'm not sure if it'll work very well, but, and also I'm gonna maybe use it to draw on, or a template for the holes once I make that first pilot hole. So the pilot hole worked better than we thought it would. There it is right there. That's the center of that, I think 3" by 3" block. It's a little smaller than that, probably maybe 2.75 by 2.75 wood block under there. So there's the center. We're gonna draw out a little template for that box and try and center our thing over that. All right, y'all, the pilot hole came through. There's the center of it. I made a little 2.9 by 2.9 square with paper, taped it down, put this bad boy centered over it. There's a little hole, so I just kind of centered that over the pilot hole. Made sure that this portion was facing forward, and then put those little holes there for the mounting holes. Now I'm gonna drill some pilot holes in there and then put the screws in. That should be through the wood. All right, y'all, I got that all screwed in, the 3 screws. This bad boy just goes right on top of it, like so. Yeah, you see it can rotate a little, pretty sweet. There's that. I'll show you what it looks like underneath. So underneath here, we have a little bit of dust on the ground and the 3 holes going right through that wood perfectly. That's how we do it, baby. All right, now what we're gonna do is drill a hole on the other side of this little wooden divider with carpet on it. So on the other side is where all the wires and junk is. So I want to make sure when I pull the wire all the way from the back for the transducer up, I'm not hitting anything. So I'm gonna go in between those 2 little brackets right there. Just drill straight down so I know where to go. And then I'll feed the wire through. All right. Now, I can't really see here, but fucking A. Are we good like that? Where do we want it? Right there? Over there, I think. Good God, that's a tight space. I drilled a hole under there. Had to be pretty big to get the wire's not that thick, but the actual connection part is pretty thick, so it had to be a big ass hole to get that through. Kind of hard to drill upwards, directly over the pontoon, but I kind of went at an angle up there. All right, y'all. Update. I got the wire for the transducer through the back here, through that little cubby underneath. It's connected. Barely had enough length. So at first I made a hole on the other side of this wooden divider, and it did not have enough room to even make it there because I had to drill it at a weird angle, but I actually just drilled on this side of that. I figured, you know, I put it pretty much all the way up into the edge, but to where I could still get to it and drill down from here. Had to be careful. You don't want to drill down all the way into the pontoon because it's right underneath there. But we have enough room to work there. There's the hole. I think it was a half inch hole that I used. And then the wire, you can see I kind of messed that one up a little. I didn't have a nice sized drill bit, so I kind of tore that up a little, but it's through. And this is a little cubby. I'll probably use the other hole for the power. But all right, y'all. There's the two wires coming out. One transducer goes underneath right here. I drilled down there, half-inch hole. Now here's the electric or the power wire. You're gonna use the red and the black ones. You don't need to use the brown and blue ones unless you're getting some more stuff hooked up, but I am not. So the pontoon that I have came with an accessory switch that is unused, so we have these two wires right here that aren't used. So I'm gonna insert the power wires into those and then crimp them shut, and then we should be good to go. All wired up and ready to go. I don't have the battery plugged in, so I'm not gonna start it yet, see if it works, but it should. The power is connected to this accessory switch right here. There was two wires with a connector on them. You just crimp those together with the red and black wires. I think they were orange and black under there, the ones that were coming from that switch. And so you can just plug those in here, and then we'll put the GPS in there and it should work. And one thing to note about this is there is a little screw under here, which is what connects this big bracket to the small little circular one that's mounted to the dashboard. So this screw goes into that, and then there's a lock nut on the other side of this circular mount that's screwed in. So you want to make sure that you put that lock nut into that circular mount before you screw it into the dash. That way this screw right here isn't just twisting around without anything to grab onto. All right, hopefully this thing works. I'll get back to you if it doesn't. Again, the wire is running all the way down there from the transducer to the middle here. I'll go ahead and show you where it is. So there's that transducer. The wire runs around, up through there, through there. I got one wire holder there. Goes through again. Another wire holder there. Another one there. Another one there. Another one there. And then up over into that hole right there. So this is the hole that's on the closest side, and I tried drilling another one. I have that hole over there that's further, the one that was hidden on the other side of that piece of wood divider, but the wire was not long enough to reach and connect to the thing, so I had to make it shorter, and I did a hole right here and then it worked. So make sure you're putting your hole right here, because it probably won't work on the other side. The wire that they give you is not long enough for that in my case, and I have an 18-foot boat, so I would imagine on something bigger you might want to look into the cord and see if you can get a longer one or something. But there's that. All right, y'all, we got this bad boy working. Let's go. The wiring under there, not super pretty, but we'll probably zip tie a couple of those down. That thing's working. The accessory switch is working. Got the battery plugged in. Well, hopefully that transducer works. We'll take it out on the water soon here. A demonstration for y'all. accessory button on. Garmin on, baby. Let's go. And here it is with the case, or the front case on. Looks pretty sweet there, huh?